and dangerous weather situation set to unfold down the east coast of Australia this week. Tropical Cyclone Alfred continues to develop in the Coral Sea, and the latest forecast modelling is showing us meteorologists that there is a strong chance that the system will now make landfall around southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales. The strike zone anywhere between Kirra, Fraser Island, down to around about Byron Bay. So what can we expect? Well, we're expecting destructive winds, possibly exceeding 160 kilometres per hour. We're also expecting extreme precipitation, heavy rainfall, which will lead to river flooding and flash floods right across the region, in particular through southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales. We're expecting anywhere between 400 and 500 millimetres falling in quite a short period of time. And along with this, we're going to see significant wave heights. We've already had waves measured at around about 17 metres offshore of Queensland. We'll probably see those 20-metre waves unfold as we get through this week. We're also expecting the possibility of a storm surge through some areas and coastal inundation and significant beach erosion, which could lead to substantial damage to homes and businesses that line the foreshore in southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales. But we'll certainly be keeping you up to date right through this week on the movements of Tropical Cyclone Alfred.
So wherever the line goes of the tracking, that goes with it as it moves in. Of course, it might weaken as it moves in. Category 1 is expected once it makes landfall. But it's hard to kind of know just yet what it will be. And you see the risk zone here from Bundaberg to Grafton from the Bureau of Meteorology. Let's have a look at the wave heights. These are still enormous at the moment. 8-9 metre waves, some going up over that, 11-12 metres offshore. So this is a bit of a quick animation. Here is Brisbane, and further down the coast there is Sydney. You've got the cyclone offshore here, and the biggest waves are also in the southwestern quadrant. And you can see the key down here showing 6, 7, 8 metre swells. Let's animate this now for the days ahead and see that surge as it moves in. The waves go up as it moves in towards the coastline, and the centre of that cyclone coming in right towards Brisbane, with the biggest waves south of that, Gold Coast, and down towards New South Wales. Also worth noting that at the centre of the storm, you have a storm surge. It's like the cyclone's a giant vacuum cleaner in the sky, and it lifts up the sea into a bit of a dome underneath it by maybe another ½ metre. So you've got the big waves on top of the dome, and then you've got the gale force winds blowing it all.
Before the first rain drops, a flood of people. It's madness at Margate.
I live just behind the Redcliffe Hospital, and when the weather gets severe, it's pretty bad flooding.
Alfred is putting emergency services to work already, directing traffic at Newmarket.
We didn't expect to have so much competition.
Demand so high, sandbags are now temporarily unavailable. In supermarkets, the fresh food people are fresh out of bottled water. Coles shelves have been stripped too.
Our local shops in Arana Hills has been going crazy. People have been hoarding.
At hardware stores, there's a rush on batteries, ropes and generators.
We're prepping for loss of power. We've had the house wired up to take a generator. Talking to the guys inside, they just sold 17 generators, so I think people are understanding maybe what's going on.
Weather models are now consistent, tracking Alfred to hit as a Category 2 cyclone on Thursday or Friday between Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast. The likelihood increased overnight. First risk, big swells. At Bribie Island last night, a catamaran and trimaran washed onto a seawall. The vessels have been tied down, ready to ride out worsening weather. At Raby Bay, boaties are being roped in to prep for destructive winds.
We're just coming down, doing some additional checks and adding in some extra cleats for some of the bigger boats.
The next worry, erosion. Waves have carved out a chunk of the coastal road at Inskip Point. A 15-metre wave was recorded off the southern end of Kirra last night. On Cape Morton, winds nudged 90 kilometres per hour today. Generators and health workers are being sent to the Moreton Bay Islands and communities where locals are deciding whether to stay or go.
We're supposed to be here till Friday.
But with the cyclone, yeah, we're heading home today.
It's getting on a bit of the house, so we'll see how it goes.
No customers today at the kiosk on North Stradbroke, but at Amity Point, Bob and Kathy Burnett aren't budging.
I'm not worried about the cyclone. So if it comes, it comes. We've got place to go.
The cyclone could cross on a high tide. Storm surge is a serious concern at Golden Beach. Bribie Island used to be a barrier, now much of it is buried. Offshore,
we're just out the back of the port.
It could be an extended stay on Quantum of the Seas.
We haven't been told anything yet.
The ship is scheduled to arrive in Brisbane at the same time as Cyclone Alfred.
For the people that need to fly throughout Australia, overseas and everything, that hopefully they've got travel insurance.
The Brisbane port is now closed. All freight and cargo ships are being diverted. Only one cruise liner will be allowed to berth. The Pacific Encounter will offload passengers early tomorrow morning. On the Brisbane River, City Cat services will be suspended from tonight. School closures are expected. Airports may close. Passengers should stay up to date with airlines.